video.
Are you gonna deal with the fact that 6 beings have just come over the horizon?
Did he
That's
see
why
them?
I have 5 teammates.
I haven't noticed them either.
Yeah,
so I'm just
I
gonna
rolled
keep
a
on going.
1, so I didn't see those guys. So
Yeah,
I went straight
you
to
noticed it.
salvage.
D13 did not. D13.
I went to go salvage the big dinosaur thing, and I rolled a 26.
You can get some various monster parts, sure.
Yeah, monster parts. This is
Me
now
too.
Monster Hunter, guys.
Rolling medicine.
I'm now gonna craft.
Yeah, I rolled
armor
that
from
medicine.
it.
I critted it. I
Did you
crit
really
that
crit
medicine.
the medicine. Medicine roll?
Medicine has been crit.
Okay. Let's see. Wow. Yeah, you guys can collect, I know we use the wrong term. You can use, 3 pieces of reflective hide.
Each?
Total.
Huh.
2, sand brute, fangs. And I don't know, 4 tufts of sand brute fur.
What now?
Okay. Let me try this again. Our power went out, so our internet crapped.
Yeah, I figured.
But it came back.
We had 2 heaters going, which destroyed our system.
Is that what we all get, or what?
That's what you all get total. So it's
Okay.
not each of you get those things. It's that that is what you
Gotcha.
all have.
You said there's 6? Okay, there's the 6.
And do we get anything for specifically the people that are like looking through it?
That's what you get.
Oh, okay.
It's hard to carve this thing.
Gotcha.
One of them approaches you and yells in an alien language.
Kazum
Gonna turn on that. Was the Tetra translator portable?
Yep.
I believe so. Turning that on.
Okay.
It's the size of an old school iPad.
That's right.
A bit thicker. More like a high school tech.
Translating anything?
10 minutes of conversation to operate it.
Instead, just motion to them. Keep coming. Keep talking.
So, Charisma characters, why don't you do your stuff?
That's me!
Can't charisma something I can't understand.
You're the talky ones. Go talk to it.
Are we...
Can't gesture them. Can't gesture them.
Question.
I can go talk to.
Are we bound by initiative rolls at this point?
No.
Okay.
In fact,
I can
this
go,
can
like-
go away.
Here, no problem.
As you get that close, though, they back away.
Okay.
Oh jeez.
So I'll get about that close, and then I will start yelling at them with diplomacy.
Damn.
Okay, I need to ask you to say something other than disappointed at them, or
I'm
gesture
really
in
glad
some
I
way.
turned off my push to talk for this.
Okay. Alright, with that much crit, you just have to, like, mimic the sound that they made, and somehow it's a perfectly good sentence.
Please. Oh God.
I'm just imagining like a really dumb version of the scene in Arrival.
You got that ticket, and it sort of points at the kind of the elongated sort of gun-like weapon it's holding, and then points at yours, and then points at the ground.
I put down my gun and hold up my hand. Well, I don't have a gun.
All right, so you dissipate your sword,
Yeah, I dissipate my sword.
and it kind of points the rest of you. Ready up.
Michael, can I sleight of hand so it looks like I put my gun away, but I'm still holding my gun?
All right, give me a sleight of hand check.
Don't fail me now. 25. Yeah.
Okay. What's everyone else doing?
I anticipate my sword.
Like, do we know that these are good guys, or did we just put our guns down to bad guys?
We don't know yet.
Yeah, you don't know what you did. We don't know anything
What's
about
the
these
rest
guys.
of you doing?
I don't care about my putting
I'll
with
put
my
my
sword.
into my stealth sheath.
Okay, so you kind of put it into hiding.
Yep.
Okay.
Just behind me.
D13 Gorbash.
1 second here.
Oh yeah, Michael, I holstered my pulse caster pistol. That's what they totally see me do. But I still have my tactical semi-auto pistol.
Got it. That's the one that's hidden behind you. Got it.
Yeah.
D13.
What's up?
It's pointing at you, yelling, and pointing at your weapon, your sniper rifle.
Well, I have my sniper already pointed at him, so
Do you want to put it down?
oh,
It's pointing at you, and pointing at your rifle, and pointing at the ground, and yelling in an alien language.
okay. I'll put down my sniper, pull out the frostbite,
What's the frostbite?
my laser rifle.
His
So-
laser rifle.
Some of the other some of the other guys around him start like pointing their guns and yelling, and it kind of raises its hands like, and it kind of gestures at them and says, it gestures to you like,
Alright, how about we all
Wait,
put a
what
weapon
gesture
down?
did it do?
it kind of
Yeah.
waved its arms at you.
Put your other weapon down.
So I point at the sniper, I point at the frostbite, and I kind of go back and forth.
It looks over
And I
at
hold
the
up
rest
a
of the
finger one.
group. Actually, you know, it kind of looking at the rest of you guys and kind of says something to you. You guys share a rubber shirt.
Can I roll a diplomacy check to let them make them let us keep our weapons?
can't talk to them.
Sure, yeah.
Food, did you put down your gun? Your machine gun?
I'll put down one of my guns.
Are you holding any other guns?
I have a hammer, but that's about it. And grenades. I don't know if they noticed that.
But you're not holding it. You're like physically, like in your
Yeah.
hand.
Is there anything in your hands, Gorbash?
Oh, no. There's nothing in my hand.
When I had
All right. So, what are you gesturing? What are you trying to? How do you try to indicate that to them?
me?
Yeah.
Okay. Like kind of like slow down hands, and then waving hands like we are friendly.
That must be the most confusing mating display they've ever seen. She's got
I'd be
4 arms
terrified,
for it,
yeah.
too.
Terrified with a forearm.
Well, they also
just
have
kind of waving at me.
4 arms. No,
They
they
Oh.
see you like a
never
kindred
mind.
spirit.
They have 6 6 appendages, yeah, but
Yeah,
4
4
of them
legs.
are legs.
But still, I'm more than the other people do, so I start like waving my arms around like we are friendly, trying to be
Just like 2 of your
"Let us
arms are
be
waving,
unsolved."
and the other 2 arms are shaking hands.
What?
It's like two of your own arms are shaking hands, and the other 2 are like waving. All right. So the one that's closest to you puts its gun down. Not a thing I can actually interact with. And it takes a few steps closer to you, Boba.
Woo! I'm gonna make a friend.
It points to itself and says, "Die stayed."
All right, I point to myself and say, Boba.
Die stain, Boba.
Hmm.
And it kind of points at Eden next to you.
Yeah, and then I point at myself and say Boba, and then I point at Eden and say Eden.
Yeah, wait, hello?
Points at the one holding his gun still.
I point back.
I point at myself and say Boba. I point at him and say stupid.
Die stain, Boba.
And then
Eden.
make a little crazy
Stupid.
symbol with my hand.
Okay, give me a diplomacy check.
I pick back up my sniper rifle.
The rest of them behind you start training their guns on you.
On me?
No, on D13.
Oh.
All 5 of them behind her have their guns pointed on D13.
I start motioning and saying, just shoot him. Just fucking shoot him.
We can always make more.
That's right. It's just a robot.
It's not really how it works.
Let's-
D13 would just get back up with the new soul.
Can I yank the gun out of his hand with my graviton?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also use my psychokinetic hand.
Make a save, D13.
What's your range on
Is
it?
this really happening? What the fuck?
Yeah, I think our range is too far.
He's gonna be the reason we're gonna get shot.
I have a better idea. I'm going to go to the creature. They already saw us hack this thing apart. But I'm going to keep an eye on them. And I'm going to take out my knife and hack off one of this thing's limbs. Or a big chunk of one.
Sure.
Maybe a claw.
Yeah. Probably more likely a claw. Get through part of its foot.
And then I'm going to kind of come near Boba and like gesture like I'm offering it to them.
Okay. Culture or diplomacy, either one.
$18?
Hey, that's good. That one's already put its gun down. It kind of comes up to you, and it steps up closer, bows before you, kind of takes the claw, and
The claw.
it turns around to the other ones and goes, "Jekratava!" And then it goes, "Jekratava!" And they all kind of they stop pointing their gun at D13, and they're just kind of chanting, "Jekratava! Jekratava!"
And I'm like, yeah, that's right, I killed it. I saw that.
I hold up 2 middle fingers and go, cha-cha-cha-cha! In a dancing motion.
Peace among worlds.
We should tell them that, fuck you means you're awesome.
Hey, fuck you.
No, fuck you.
Thanks.
You do have your mature rating on, right?
Yeah. Oh, pretty much always.
That's 25 involved.
Okay. So she continues to try to gesture with you for a little bit longer, and eventually the interpreter device that you have starts to kick in, The rest of them are, kind of seem to relax and holster their weapons, and move in closer. D13, are you still holding your weapon on them?
I had to put it down for a second to do the your dance. I'm still holding my sniper, not pointing at them though.
Okay. That's fine. As long as it's not trained on them anymore.
I'm gonna pick my weapon back up too. Can we?
Yeah, you can go ahead and pick it up, but as long as you're not like brandishing it as a weapon, you can like have it like slung over your shoulder or whatever. So
Mine's banished. It's banished.
all right.
How my character icon looks, that is how I'm holding the gun right now.
I know. All right. So the rest of them, start to at least the ones in the back start to pack up and start to leave. The one that's with you actually says "Shivartara," and the translator pops up and it reads, "Come back with us. We provide food."
Okay, it says we provide food, not we will eat.
Correct.
No, they're not inviting us to dinner.
Translator can be wrong.
This is good.
Lost in translation. How good is?
Hopefully it's better than Google.
I'm just being clear.
Well, I'm gonna go with them.
Me too. I have made friends.
I'll go with them.
All right.
I'll follow with one middle finger.
Bye, Alfie.
I'm going to.
I seem to have disappeared off the map.
All right. So you guys continue on traveling with them. You seem
We
to be
have
traveling.
someone in the ship, right?
I'm sorry.
We have someone in the ship, right?
No. You're all here.
Lock the ship.
We don't have any like little minions.
Not
No.
yet.
Ship
Unless you
AI.
click the robots.
You locked
Could
the
we
ship.
perhaps
You went.
use someone with the ship?
I clicked the button twice when we left.
Drake Starship.
You know the
AI.
key fob? I got the car alarm on.
So the creatures start heading a direction away from the city.
Sheila!
Thank you, nice lady.
Do we know we're heading away from the city?
Yes. The direction you were heading is now different from the one you're heading toward the city is now a different direction from that.
I'm pretty sure
Okay,
these
I
guys are
hold up the
Dallas.
middle finger and point to our captain. Cha-cha-cha-ka!
The machine takes a few seconds, but it interprets as warrior champion.
Oh, thank you.
No, what he said. So they were cheering Warrior Champion.
Yeah, and then he did that to me.
With the
He
middle.
did it again.
That's because he's ignorant.
He's
It
ignorant.
doesn't count.
So it takes about 30 minutes for you guys to travel. Disdain, asked you some questions, like who you are or what you're doing here.
I tell them everything.
You find that difficult to do. With your translator, you're able to get words up for her to kind of interpret. It puts up a number of different characters, and she kind of makes sense of a couple of them. So she's able to read through some of it, but it doesn't take any pronouns or any nouns or proper
Oh my
names or
god, we're
anything.
speaking Klingon.
So, or not nouns. It doesn't take any proper names.
We need to get into the city, though, right? At least is
Uh,
where we want to.
so you can tell you're trying to get to the city.
Yeah, we need to get into the city.
Inside or need
Into
sense
the
motive.
inside.
We're assuming
talk
we
about the
want to go to
shield.
the city.
I assume that's the energy source.
She responds back, Husk no go to city. Husk stay outside. Husk
Are they the
strong.
Husk?
Can we ask why?
Husk have tradition.
Can we ask if there's a way into the city? Way, if they know a way into the city?
She says, she kind of looks over you, says, no way into city. And that's N-O, no.
Does anyone come out of the city?
She says, she uses a word, that translates into membrane.
Does anything come out of the membrane?
She looks at you confused.
Well, now I'm confused.
Membrane probably means like a shield.
Yeah, I assume the membrane is the shield. That's why I'm asking, does anything come out of the membrane? But now she's confused. Unless the thing that comes out of the shield is the membrane. Oh, the membrane comes out of the city. I get it. No, does anything come out through the membrane?
It still looks at you confused.
Do people come out of the membrane?
It repeats membrane.
Can we?
I'm assuming the membrane is what's...
Does the yolk ever come out of the egg?
It looks at you confused.
What the fuck is an egg?
Well, I figured that might be easier words for it to translate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now you're asking about yolks and eggs when you were talking about the city before.
Can we ask for supplies for going in?
It might
looked
not like
around.
translate member back and forth correctly.
That's just perception to see. Does any of them look like they're like afraid of us?
The five look like they're afraid of you.
Okay, I go up to the one that looks most afraid, and say that we actually came.
It just keeps a good 15-foot distance from you.
Damn it!
If you
Never
pressure that distance, it will pull a gun at you.
So these guys are totally aliens? Is this first contact?
Do you ask to disdain that?
I guess if I'm gonna ask if they've seen any other strangers like us.
She takes a moment to ponder, and she says, "No, you first, stranger."
All right.
She says, "I'm only 32 cycles, though." Maybe brother, and then a word it can't translate, and sister, word it can't translate. We'll know.
Can you take us to them?
Yes. We are going to the network.
Food.
Yep. Food with brother and sister.
Why do I get the feeling this won't be?
I point to one of them. Not food.
No, not food.
Friends, not food.
Friends, not food.
I point to our captain. Food.
No, not food. Stranger. Friend?
Friend.
Friend.
Food.
They like me better.
So they take, after about 30 minutes of walking, they kind of take you down into a cave system. It's it seems to be a network of caves that are actually adjacent to some bluffs nearby. And dozens of beetle-like aliens crawl in and out of the many caves that dot the face of the otherwise drab cliff. Many of them are dressed in simple leather frocks, while a few with crude weapons are covered in sturdier armor, similar to the ones that you met on the dunes. A small garden filled with sickly plants is visible off to one side. Next to what looks like the opening to a well, a handful of children sit in front of a pair of older aliens who are both wearing brightly colored necklaces. They appear to be telling the young ones a story or teaching them some kind of lesson. As Disdain and her hunters are walking through, there are others who kind of give out cheers or, give friendly, gestures and say kind things. So that there's a lot of positive, there's a positive atmosphere when they start walking through the caves. As soon as they notice you, however, they kind of that cheer seems to quickly die down and become more reserved. Disdain moves up to the two up front and begins to talk to them very animatedly. If you move within 20 feet of them, you're able to hear what she's saying and get parts of the conversation. Basically, she explains that she met the six of you out on the dunes, and that you had killed a sand beast, one of the alphas, no less, and that they have come to share a meal and to rest up after the great battle. The two leader-like folks, their mandibles seem to clatter together. One of them gestures for you to come closer.
Sure. I'll do it.
Let's see. So, it says, tell me, traveler, what brings you to our network?
Food.
We are explorers from the stars.
I pointed at the sky.
We are looking to make contact with those who live here.
The two leaders kind of look at each other wide-eyed with some surprise, and the children all around them kind of, all of their mandibles start to clack together, and they're kind of speaking in kind of hushed tones to each other.
Yeah, I think this is first contact, guys. We should be careful. No, probably should have said that earlier.
I mean, I assumed as such, but who cares?
Alright.
What are we gonna do, not interfere in the lesser culture? What a stupid idea.
Run against the law.
Give me either a culture or life science check, Awak.
17.
Okay. Yeah, that's enough. You realize that based on the kind of the resources around them and like the plant life that is nearby, and the well that's built into the middle of their underground network, that food and water is a pretty precious resource, and any kind of offering of food and water, like even field rations, might be like a really kind gesture to offer them. It's an option, not something you have to do. It's just something that you observe would go a long way in the society.
Sure. I'll offer them water. Or, yeah, I guess we have water and rations. We didn't bring the creature with us.
So you kind of bring out your water supply and offer it up to them. At that point, they seem even more gracious, and they kind of turn to the children and the other creatures who gather around from amongst the cave networks, and say, "Come, let us celebrate with the welcoming for our new companions." And there's a big cheer that kind of goes up amongst them. They kind of start moving in through the caves, and kind of some of the children kind of run up to some of you and sort of kind of start dragging you by their hands, or trying to pull on you, and other ones are just kind of leading you along. So they kind of pull you into a bigger, spacious cave area, as they actually build a large bonfire in the center of a cleared out space that provides a lot of light in the cave, but it does make it pretty stuffy without there being a lot of exit to the cave. There's not a lot of good airflow. The alien creatures don't seem to mind the stuffiness, but it does affect some of you guys. It seems as if almost the whole tribe is here. There's hundreds of these creatures. Well, I'm glad to know that Pip's really involved and interested.
It's been a long day.
Mute yourself when you fucking yawn, asshole.
Sorry.
Anyway,
God damn.
they start to dance, and start to go up to each of you to ask you to join in.
I join in
Dance.
with my middle fingers up
Okay.
in the dancing motion.
Alright. They try to
Also
encourage
yelling
all of
fuck
you
you
to
a lot.
dance, but it's up to you whether you decide or not to. So, D13 and Boba Fett both jump in. Anyone else jumping into the dance?
Sure. I'll jump in there.
Okay. Eden jumps in. Anyone else?
Nope.
Gorbash? Alfie?
Nope.
I'm gonna hang out for now. Because, my shoulder.
They seem really disappointed.
No dancing. No dancing.
They're really disappointed in you for not joining, but
I got bit by a giant aminal.
It only hit your stamina. You're fine.
Is it infected? Do we have alcohol?
Yeah, but we drank it.
Oh.
I could medicine you if you want.
Yeah, she drank the rubbing alcohol as well.
you can
Okay.
give me a culture check or a perception check. to try and learn the steps to the dance.
Oh jeez.
It's like Walter.
I do it anyway and mock anyone who fails.
I turned on my recorder to record the failure.
You find the steps to be pretty easy, Oleg. It would not be hard for you to do. Yeah, Eden. Eden gets the steps. Is that culture or perception, Boba?
Perception.
Okay. You're not as confident with the steps.
I wave my arms more. It's cool.
Yeah, sometimes you like go left when you're supposed to go right, kind of thing. Who's the other person that joined in?
I'm doing my own dance.
I'm literally mind reading one of them so I can copy them perfectly.
So you're actively not following their dance?
Yep.
Okay. Alright. So, seems like only Eden on the dance floor is actually getting into the moves of the dance. Boba is trying, but not quite getting all the steps right. And D13, while on the dance floor, is actively working against everything in the crowd. So, and now give me an acrobatics check.
All of us?
Nope, those are the ones who are dancing.
That would be. Oh, this isn't gonna go well.
Whoops. Wrong person.
Nice lady.
You've named the ship Nice Lady.
Oh, on keeps on saying nice later. Now the ship is named Nice Lady.
Wow. So, yeah, Eden
We finally named the ship.
Eden and Boba actually, by the end of it, do get the dance down and work along with them. Your dance, however, D13 is not enough to actually impress them, so they're dissatisfied with your dancing. Alright. So after some time dies down, they provide some food and drink. The drink is fine, but the food is not necessarily something to most of your tastes. But it if you do eat any of it, it goes down okay. It seems to be pretty lackluster in flavor and pretty dry in substance.
Sustenance is sustenance.
Cool.
Yep.
Do we get some rest too?
Yep. You
Perchance.
can take this time to do a short rest.
Would we
can
regen our
spend a resolve point to get all of your stamina back.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, I guess I'll do that as well.
You see another alien creature, kind of similar, in like frame, or like body makeup to the other creatures that are around you, but it's much taller and leaner, and actually seems to have a set of wings on its back. And it's by the two leaders in the back corner.
Is it the queen?
Who wants to say something really stupid?
Someone with good charisma, maybe.
I am disappointed.
So are you going up to talk to the winged one?
Yes,
Okay.
What's a +9 for?
that's my charisma.
Oh wow, nice.
More diplomacy, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's diplomacy, but yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I was assuming I was going to use diplomacy. I'm not going to ask them how they breed.
It's for science.
Just because things are for science doesn't mean it's a good idea to ask.
Science is always a good idea.
No.
You go over there. Are you using gestures or are you using the translator?
Translator.
Okay. So what do you say
With
to her?
accompanying gestures.
So what do you say to her?
Oh, well, first thing I'm going to do is tell them thank you for inviting us into their home.
And they kind of take their hands and kind of put it above their head in like a steeple gesture and kind of bow to you at the same time.
That's amazing. I want to do it too.
Okay. So you gesture with your upper two limbs.
While waving my other two excitedly. I guess what do we want to ask them? Oh yeah.
Ask how to get in. Anyone goes
the
through
elder,
the
right?
membrane.
So I want to ask them if anybody had any strangers have come by here from the membrane, since he can remember, or she.
So the leaders hear the word membrane and look over at the winged taller one, and she kind of steps forward toward you, and let's see, she walks up to you and looks you over for a moment, and then gestures to her throat and her throat and then her mouth, and her hands seem to light up with some kind of light blue energy, and then she uses that glowing hand to point to your throat and your mouth.
Oh God, what happens?
She's just gesturing.
Okay. Well, it's glowing. I'm expecting something to happen.
She kind of waits and kind of like tilts her head, looking at you quizzically.
Do I understand what's going on? Like,
Maybe she can't speak.
oh,
Well, she points at her. She repeats the gesture. She points at her throat and her mouth, and sit with the same glowing hand, and then points at your throat and your mouth, and kind of like moves her hand closer to you, but doesn't actually touch you. She's like waiting.
oh. But she has to use my mouth to
I
speak.
grab her hand.
Yeah, go ahead and just like walk forward so that she's actually touching my throat.
Okay. She does touch you, and immediately, whenever there's mystical energy that kind of transfers and connects between the two of you, and you now have a shared language between you. So anytime you're trying to communicate with her specifically, you'll be able to talk effectively as if you were talking in common.
How long does this last?
Quite some time. And she goes,
Okay.
Good. This is a much more simple way to communicate with outside species. Hello. My name is Clarima. And might I ask for your name?
My name is Boba Fett.
That's a beautiful name. So exotic and wonderful. It's a pleasure to have you visiting.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. The food's delightful, the company is nice. We also have lots of questions.
I can I can continue this magical shared speech with up to 2 others. Are there 2 others amongst your group that we should include in this conversation?
Oh,
You point over at him.
wait, maybe not at all.
Yes, definitely Oonk.
Eden,
And
for one.
who else?
Sure.
I think Eden would be good. I'm worried
I
about
nominate
having
Eden.
Oonk. And
Worried about having
definitely
Oonk?
not D13.
Not D13.
So who are your
I
final
have
2?
scientific questions.
You can't see the shitty grin he's giving me right now.
Oh, God.
I think our captain wants us to slit her throat.
Why would you even think that?
Oh, now I can understand her.
Does anybody else really want it?
Want what?
Well, I said
Being able to
Eden,
talk to her.
but does anybody else really want to talk to her? Not you.
Rude.
Gorbash is off on the other side of the room eating.
Is it because I'm on Android?
Alright, then I guess Oonk.
Okay.
Oh.
She
Oonk, behave yourself.
she steps over to Oonk and does the same magical gesture, but doesn't wait quite as long for permission and touches Owonk's throat.
Actually, before she touches Oonk's throat, can I warn her he's likely to ask some inappropriate questions if you just don't want to answer? Just make a weird hand signal and change the subject.
What? And then now Oonk, you can suddenly understand what she's saying.
Yes, we have questions about this place.
Oh, well, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Excellent.
No.
Membrane. It was the first thing we noticed when coming here before we ran into your people. Do you know
I'm
anything
sorry.
about the membrane?
I'm sorry, I think you must have misunderstood. I am a membrane. These here are the husk. I come from within inside the city.
Oh.
I knew it.
Did you think that the force field was the membrane?
And it,
Yep. It seemed, vaguely similar. A membrane usually covers something.
That does make sense. It's a terminology that's kind of been developed over many years. So we've just kind of gotten used to it.
So why do they call you a membrane? Do you cover something?
I think it has more to do with I think it more to do with, one, that we do live inside the city, and two, our carapaces are slightly thinner, more of a membrane than an actual thick hide, or more like the husk, who are tougher in nature. We are more
interesting.
sophisticated. That is only my assumption, though. I never thought about it, really.
Kind of makes sense. Right then, so you're from the city?
Oh, yes. It's a
Oh,
wonderful city.
well, we're from outer space. Came to meet your people, meet your planet.
Oh, from outer space, from the stars. You aren't from this planet. That is so
Nope.
fascinating. And by what means did you come here?
A big ship.
It's a
Spacefaring vessel
That is phenomenal.
called a starship.
Can I get the glowy hand? Give me that glowy hand.
I thought I already did.
I'm sorry, what is he saying?
What? Which
He
one?
would like to speak to you.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And she does the repeated gesture and adds you, hello.
Glowy hand. Oh, thank you.
I'm Chlamyria. How can I help you?
Oh yes, hello, Chlamyria. We just have some questions. One, I just wanted to know if you know what the ship that attacked us out there in space was, that came from your planet.
Ship in space attacked you.
It seemed to
It was
be
full of robots.
a planetary defense system.
No, I do not know what it is you speak of. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, cool.
I travel outside of Archeos pretty often, but I don't go to space.
You should. Space is nice. You might like it.
Oh, I'm sure I'd find it absolutely fascinating.
So what is the technology of your species like? Have you reached industrial levels, or have you reached the computer era?
Of course we have computers. Don't be silly. Well, us membranes have computers. These husks are simpler folk. Do not have much need for technology of the sorts. They believe that Mother Tolu provides for them.
And who's Mother Tulu?
Mother Tulu is a being of great importance that provides for the husks and protects over them. It's a religious figure, let's say. Some kind of god or something or other. Personally, I think it's a bit rubbish, but, you know.
Are they a local god?
And so why are you here?
Oh, it's a bit silly, actually. I was traveling outside the barrier, just doing a bit of exploring, traveling about and getting to, know the area, and, well, I came across some, sore nettles that, caused me to, hurt myself. I was found and discovered by some of these local husks, and they brought me here to recover and recover from my injury.
They seem like well-intentioned creatures.
Oh, the husks are just delightful. As again I say, very primitive, but just very sweet folk, very nurturing and caring.
Is there any way we could go to your city?
Oh yes, I would be happy to take you to Archeost. It is the shining beacon of civilization, of course, in the area. And the whole planet, I'm pretty sure. You absolutely must come back with me.
Sounds good to us.
Yep. When can we go? Tomorrow? Something? No?
Well, I absolutely must return home today, so if you're willing, I will show you the way and get you through our force field in exchange for protection on the journey home. Does that sound
Sooner the
fair?
better.
Sure.
Wonderful. Well, let me just say goodbye to Alomir and Cosimo, and we will be off. And she turns to the two leader husks and starts to talk to them in their language, and starts to gesture in a few ways. And she says, "All right, all is taken care of. We should be off now." And she starts to walk toward one of the. She starts to like hover and fly toward one side of the cave.
They've been reading our translator, right? Or does it talk to them?
They have to read it.
Alright. So after she kind of gets away from us, I go over to the leaders and punch in, "Is she friend?"
They say, yes. Membranes are friend and allies.
Well, thank you. Anybody else want to say anything to the husks?
No, I want to give them a hug though if they understand hugs.
I ask, would you be open to a physical gesture of friendship?
The two leaders and some of the other ones around kind of look at each other, and Dicedane kind of steps up and says, "Yeah, sure."
Yay! Hugging!
You wrap four of your arms around her, and she kind of tries to repeat the gesture, but doesn't quite figure out how to do it with her legs. She thinks all four are kind of required, and she kind of goes off balance a little bit.
Alfie, are you recording? This may be related to their breeding.
Oh, I'm totally recording.
He's like, I'm
Our
recording
recording
all
system.
this.
Always recording.
This could be some good stuff.
Why? Why?
Science, Gorbash. You should try it sometime.
People love science videos.
Exactly.
Alright. And the one of the leaders walks up to Boba, or actually walks up to Oank, and hands him 3 vials of a very dark liquid. And he says, healing tonic.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay. I'll trust you on that.
And it actually functions as a Mark 1 serum of healing.
And how many are they giving us?
3.
So you can
Oh,
put
nice.
2 away.
Why would we give 2 away? We
Put 2 away.
oh,
You need to use
put
1.
2 away. Sorry, what?
You need to use 1.
Who needs to use 1? No, you took stamina damage. You're not actually hurt.
No. One who got his shoulder nommed on. Gorbash?
Oh, he's fine.
No, Alfie. Alfie also only took stamina damage.
Okay.
Yeah.
He already healed it with Resolve and some time off.
Why does
He just
stamina
willed
damage?
his. He just willed
They're
his.
just eating.
He just willed his wound closed.
It's all about positive thoughts.
Clarmia. No, Karima. Karima? I'm gonna type this out to you. Someone's
Karima!
Kalima.
Car-
Kalima? Clarima.
Clarima.
Karma.
Pretty sure it's Clarima or Clarima.
Clarima. Clarima. That helps actually.
Clarima.
Clarima. Whatever.
It's
Clarima.
Spanish. Clarima.
It's tough, man. Words are hard. Alien words are hard. Non-English words are hard. English words are hard sometimes. uh, so, she gathers you guys up, and you head into follow her across the sand. Despite asking for protection, the journey is pretty unremarkable. It's worth a yawn. And it takes a few hours, but you still have the shared language, so the spell will continue. So if there's any other questions you want to ask, you're welcome to do so. Elytrio's sun is beginning to set as you guys approach the edge of the visible force field, about half a mile outside the city.
Ask us about the general culture, family life of this species. I don't directly ask how they breed.
Well, as you can see, the membranes and the husks are very different culturally and physically. Many generations after the Long War, a faction of people received protection from the divine power that I told you about, Mother Tulu. They struck out into the wastelands at the deity's behest. In doing so, they eventually became lost the use of their wings. These husks, as we call them, are those you saw earlier. Those of us who retained our power of flight are known as membranes by them. So we live within the city of Archaeost. As I mentioned, we once were a planet full of many nation states, and a great war broke out. This invisible fire rained down upon everyone and killed most of the living across the globe. It was only thanks to the foresight of our ancestors that any of us survived to see today.
An invisible fire?
Well, yes, that's what it's referred to in the archives.
Nobody knows what it actually was?
It's been many generations. Our ancestors are the ones that protected us.
Do you know what happened to those who were hit by this invisible fire?
She kind of says, she kind of gestures to the land behind you, and says, well, you can see what's out there, right?
So it, dried them up?
Yes, I guess that would be an adequate description. Those who survived changed quite drastically.
Did the people from your past have the capability to go into space?
No, I don't believe we traveled the stars. It was obviously a lofty goal, if that was one. But we have everything we need here, so we had no reason to ever leave. Most don't even leave the city. I'm just too curious, you know. I would love to see outside the stars, though. Alright, so you guys do reach the edge of the force field. Let's see. She pulls out a clunky and ancient-looking data pad from her pack. She presses a few buttons on it and pauses. Nothing happens, so she gets pretty frustrated. She touches the same sequence of buttons on the device, and this time a circular portion of the force field opens up like a door. She steps through and gestures for the rest of you to follow. Please, come along, come along.
Sure. We'll go then.
Once you've all passed through the force field, she presses another button on her data pad and the force field closes again. As you approach Archaeost, you see that the lights in the city have come on. And this is a strange metropolis that sparkles like a jewel in the gloom of the dusk. In stark contrast to the desolation surrounding it, the city is a bustling center of activity. Dozens of winged insectoid aliens going about their business, flirting from one high doorway to another. The street below seems almost like an afterthought, used only occasionally by small automated machines. Several overgrown flower beds and shaggy trees fill the space between the roads and hug the sides of the tall buildings. Though the structures look sturdy, obvious patches of rust or other disrepair indicate they haven't been well taken care of. As you're traveling through the city, most of the alien creatures, most of the citizens seem to stop what they're doing and stare at you as you walk by with Chlamyria. Clarima. Blah. I will get that right eventually. Not too long after you're walking through the city, a contingent of these creatures wearing formal armor and carrying weapons that look like kind of like kind of nine-tail whips, but like technologically enhanced, kind of flutter down to confront you. Bounty hunters or mercenaries can give me a profession check. Anyone else can give me a sense motive.
That's me.
Are we there? Did we follow her? I didn't understand what you were saying.
Really? Were you paying attention to anything I just said?
I meant, like, I'm with Gorbash, but she couldn't, or like, I can't understand her.
Oh, did you just stay with the husks? Did no one come get
I'm
you?
I'm with Gorbash right now. Did Gorbash go with them? There was one?
I assumed all of you went with them.
Let's just say we just follow them. They told us to follow, and we followed. How about we say that?
I mean, we couldn't understand that she said follow.
But we would have told you.
They would have told us.
Also,
Okay.
the rest of your group went in, left.
I also think
Yeah, I was
that
gonna
they're all
say.
crazy.
You think they're crazy. I think they're talking to an alien. That's
Alright,
all.
well,
Yeah,
D13
and
is still with the
that's
husks.
why I'm following you. Exactly. See, it's all character.
Alright. Just Gorbash follows them like a sane person would.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
follow
I was like, oh,
Gorbash.
they're going somewhere.
Okay. At any point, anyone who can understand her can turn to the rest of you and explain what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's not what I assumed happened. That's
that's what I was assuming was happening too, but sorry for my assumption. So what do we get for profession checks? And the
Oh, yeah,
sense
that's what I
motive
was
is
doing.
versus the guarded, or like the armored creatures.
I got a 15.
That's fine.
Was that sense motive?
Yes.
Okay. So then Boba's 14 was profession?
Yep.
Okay. Alright. Well, Boba and D13 can tell that the guards don't seem very comfortable in their armaments. They just kind of seem like that even like brandishing the weapons or wearing the armor makes and flying around seems to make them uncomfortable. They're not used to it. That's what it
They're
seems.
noobs. They're noobs. They're all noobs.
Clarmeria steps forward and starts to explain to them in their tongue what's happening.
So we basically can understand her, but not the other guys?
Yep.
We can understand what she's saying, and then everything...
Only when she's
Yeah.
directing the conversation at you.
Uh,
It's like all of you now speak X. She can speak Y to them, and you guys speak Z to each other. But now there's like X between you and her. So, they seem to kind of calm down after a few moments. And she actually turns to you and says, "Good news! You're going to be allowed to speak with the most elevated."
Yay!
Great.
So the guards kind of turn around and start flying off, and she starts to follow along after them, and they actually take you to the center of the city. They fly off toward an opening structure about 40 feet off the ground, and Karima starts to kind of move off after them, and then realizes that none of you seem to have the ability to fly because none of you have flown yet. She goes,
I can
"Oh,
fly.
you can fly?"
no.
Yes, Alfie, show us how you can fly.
"Oh, please do."
I'm a pilot. I can fly.
"Well, go ahead."
I jump off in the air.
Can all of your species fly? Looking around at all of you.
Yes, with our invisible wings.
I mean, theoretically, I can't throw myself at the ground and miss with my graviton hand, right?
I was gonna say, wait,
No.
graviton me into the air, cat?
Graviton? No, you can't.
Or
No.
Boba Feet?
There is a specific feat or a specific ability for gravity or graviton that allows you to defy gravity, but we don't have that yet.
Okay, but I theoretically could pick up one of them.
And chuck them? Yes. I guess we're not really in combat, but yeah, why not?
No, none of our species can fly.
Let's chuck them. Let's
I
chuck
can
Alfie.
take a minute to do
Then
that.
give me just
That
one
right.
moment. So she pulls out that data pad again and starts to press some buttons on it. And she's a couple of table-sized hovering drones comes up and appears before each of you. Yeah, they're hovering it off the ground just enough for you to climb onto them.
Cool, I jump on.
All right.
Jump on.
Jumping on.
As Oang gets onto his, its hover mechanics momentarily give out. Its hover jets kind of give out momentarily, and just before it crashes, its power kicks back on and hovers you back up. You're able to keep yourself, standing on the thing, but it's a little wobbly at first. The rest of them don't seem to have this affliction.
Interesting.
Only belongs to that?
Yeah.
The others learned.
Yeah. Once you each climb onto yours don't seem to give out. Just Oang's.
Or it thinks I'm fat.
Or it thinks you're fat. Comparing your next of the Vesk of your party, though, that's probably not a fair assessment.
Hey, I'm big boned.
You're big boned and heavy. You're just heavy. You're just large compared to everything else. So the guards continue to. The tables or the hoverjet things kind of elevate you to the 40-foot entrance into the building, and you're able to climb into the entranceway. The guards continue to usher you through the building and lead you to a large central chamber with vaulted ceilings. There's a large table that occupies one end of the room. Behind of it sit 5 membranes dressed in elaborate robes. They stand and bow to all of you, and they beckon you to move forward. Karima introduces you. This is the most elevated council. If you, if the rest of your party would wish, the council may also bestow the blessings of our language onto you who yet do not have it, and we can share in this mystic arts. So she's offering for others to be added to the cast shared language ability.
You should add, well, I tell Gorbash and Alfie, they can, make it so they can communicate with you.
Yes, please.
But, I tell them D13 doesn't actually speak a comprehensive language, so it wouldn't work on him.
Oh dear. Oh dear, that is quite sad.
Yeah, he just makes noises, and
All he can do is
we
put
kind of
his
go
hands
along
up.
with him.
All he can do is put his little fingers up.
He's basically a modified gun.
Is it more like a pet?
You know you spoke common when you talked to Alfie and Gorbash, right?
Yeah, and?
Middle finger to your face.
We already told them that means hello.
Good. Middle finger to her face.
That is
She takes one
D13
of-
sign language.
She tries
the
to
only
figure
sign
out
that he
which of her
knows.
claws, like which of her hand is like the middle one, and does that to gesture at you.
Excellent.
You know the best part, like holding up middle finger? Only one of my hands have 5 fingers.
What's wrong with your other hand?
It just it's just 4 fingers. Or, no, 3. No.
Do you not know how many
Why?
fingers is on your hand?
Damn it, Mike.
It's
I'm
not
gonna-
missing fingers, it's just designed that way.
I'm gonna keep that in mind. You write that down in your character sheet right now.
It has 4
Which one?
fingers.
Your left or your right?
My right.
Okay.
One
Has
day you're gonna
4
need to
or
grab
3?
onto something.
Hold on. 3. It actually does have middle finger. It's just the pointer finger too.
It's just the
Wait.
pointer, though.
So do you have 2 fingers and a thumb, or do you have 3 fingers and then a thumb?
Probably
2 fingers and a thumb.
2 fingers and a thumb.
So you have no middle finger.
The pointer is
It's
the middle.
it's also the pointer finger.
This is a pointer finger. It's
The
just
middle
pointer.
finger
It's
and your
trigger
middle hand
finger.
includes the thumb on your real hand in the real world. Anyway,
So I've been flicking people off every single time I point with my right hand.
anyway, so they cast. I guess they only casted on Alfie and Gorbash. Shared language. Now everyone in the room can communicate. And they offer everyone a chair, including the defective one. And I'd say this is an okay place to stop. I think we're going to stop here for today.
Okay.
Alright.
Do we level?
You know what? Sure.
Right.
You're welcome.
It's been a while.
It has been quite a while.
We're not getting a lot done.
Yay! Level.
All we get is a combat feat, Mike.
God. Yeah, but you don't understand what that means. Wait, let me make sure that combat feat is what I think it means.
Oh my god, Mike.
So we're
Hold
level
on.
4.
Nice reading.
Thank you all for watching. I'm gonna turn off the stream. But
Just
Good
that's
night,
level
everybody.
Characters. Say goodnight, Pip.
Good night,
Good
Pip.
night, Pip.
Good night, Pip.
It's not funny when it's not Pip saying it. Alright. Good night, everybody.